Welcome along, everyone. Uh, I didn't intend to make a video on this, so here goes. Doing a voiceover. So this is a piece of maple, and as you can see, it's pretty out of balance. So I'm trying to true it up here, and we are going to make a bowl, but the bowl is going to be off-centered, and a wee bit of color added to it using Joe Sonia's iridescent paints. So sit back and enjoy a show. So on this piece, I am doing an off-center bowl. So the bowl itself, it's going to be, the center of it's going to be hollowed out and it's going to be off-center. I'm using an Axminster eccentric chuck to do this. So this is this was a test to see if it worked, because I planned on doing a video of it, or not a video, a demonstration of it at my local club this coming Tuesday. So I want to make sure it works with this chuck. I didn't know if it would work with the chuck or not. There's lots of different ways of actually doing this to get the off center. I wanted to pick a way that I could use this chuck and more or less finish the piece without having to cut into it and make different cannons or recesses in it to accomplish this. So as you can see, we've trued this up now, so we're just going to carry on and we'll do the rest of the marking out. Okay, here you can see me just putting the gouge across the face of this just to true it up. I just want to make sure there's no dips in it or no bulges in it, so just taking my time and make sure it's nice and flat. You might well see these 3 holes in it. Yeah, you'll see what they're for in a wee minute. So just checked it with a ruler, and it's nice and flat. So we're going to take it off and mount it onto the chuck. Okay, I've just changed the camera position to overhead, so I'm using a Rhino scraper here just to finalize the shape. And the top of the rim is going to have 2 sort of small beads on it with a wee cove. Rather than just take the bowl right round and a half circle, I decided to recess this bit out and let me get a bit of a feature on it. So again, I'm just truing this up with a small scraper, and you can see that silver V-side screw to the plank is wobbling around. So I need to fix that, and you'll see in a wee minute where I take that off, and what I do is center that by bringing the tailstock up and put my center hole using the tailstock. Okay, I'm just using the part tool here to clean up the inside of this round to the two beads and tie them up a wee bit before we move on. So it needs sanded, so we'll just start at 80 grit and go right up to 400 as you would a normal piece. Okay, I think that's the sanding all finished. We're just applying some sand sealer to the piece. This is the bit I like, because usually a nice grain pops out and shows you how nice it is. There's a wee bit of a ripple in that as well, and part of I think you'll see it in the other side when the bowl goes around. Nicely figured. So apply a couple of coats of sand sealer to it, and then we'll get some Yorkshire grit and give it a wee rub with that. So I've applied some Yorkshire grit here, and I'm just working it into the bowl. To get the best results for the Yorkshire grit, you need to turn your speed down and spend a bit of time working the grit into the piece. A few minutes, that's all it takes. Obviously the bigger the piece, the more time you'll spend on it. This is not an overly big piece, so a couple of minutes just working around different parts of the bowl here, especially the beads, and just working through and work it in to the wood. It does help because it if you've any wee sand marks left from the 400 grit or wherever you stopped your sandpaper at. Some people stop at D20 and then just Yorkshire grit it from there. I just go up to 400 and apply Yorkshire grit after that. So everybody's their own way of finishing things. So this is my process. So we're using a clean piece of cloth here to remove any excess. And the excess will come off on the cloth. You'll see it as a brown mark. And just get another piece of a clean spot on it. And my Colestine wax. As you can see from the tin I'm holding, I'm still using this tin. This has been going on for quite a long time. I just can't seem to get that wee bit in the bottom out of the tin. It just goes on and on and on. I leave the wee rag in the tin, and that way it doesn't dry out. So that wee rag is impregnated with the crystalline wax totally. So it may only look a gentle rub with that, but with the cloth being soaked in it, it's easier to just wipe it over and use it that way. So we're just buffing this up to shine, and then we'll get the mark on this face of it to attach that, and then once you've tightened that up, you attach it with the one screw, and that's your piece ready for offsetting. So this here allows you to take it off and on, and you know, if you need to put it on center, you can take the jig off and remount it. Intersect with the bowl, and the side where I want to cut it to. Do you want to move it a wee bit more? I want to leave enough on the rim that it's not going to break out. So I think that's where I want to be with it. So inside that circle is your bowl, and the outside bit it'll be your rim, and which I will be decorating with the Joe Sonia's iridescent colours. So I decided to give a sand here. You'll see why in a minute. I'm going to apply what do you call that? Well, basically I'm going to ebonize it as okay. I'm just applying some masking tape around the outside rim. I don't want the black gesso. That's the word. That's the word I couldn't remember. Gesso. To go on our finish piece on the bottom. It's alright if it goes on a wee touch of the rim and you're going to have to sand it off, but this will help protect the bottom of the bowl and not get paint everywhere. Okay, we're going to apply the gesso by sponge. I think you get a better finish using a sponge rather than a brush. This will need more than one coat, like you can still see the wood coming through underneath. So I'm just going to even this out, try and get it all going in the one direction, and let that dry, and then give it another coat. Okay, we're going to remove the center of this with our bowl gouge, with the bowl gouge. Again, I'm just setting the speed here. Don't want to have it going too fast, it's jumping all over the place. Just nice and gentle. So just to remove the timber as you do with any other bowl, I'm just picking the tailstock up here while I remove most of the timber from the outer bit. It just gives me a wee bit of added security because of this, the way this is mounted on this ring, and I haven't turned anything as big as this using this jig, this eccentric chuck, you want to call it that. Usually I've been turning these small boxes, some things about 100 millimeters in diameter. So we're just taking my time here. There's no rush. Get a nice clean cut down the side. We'll stop and have a wee look. Make sure everything's okay. I'm getting a nice clean cut on that. Said earlier, I turned a wee bit of this maple before and it was getting a lot of tear out. The timber wasn't great, but this seems to be okay. So just keep in mind when you go to start into your cut, point the gouge and the way you want to go, and that'll help it from skating back. So we're just gradually taking timber away gradually and regressing into the center of the bowl. So now you can see we're removing the center piece now, and we'll just gradually work that in to the bottom of the bowl. Okay, we're just going to clean the bottom of this up now with the large round nose scraper, freshly sharpened. And just sweeping it back and forward and just removing very little timber so you're happy enough with your finish. And you can see it leaves a great finish if your tool's sharp. So take a couple more cuts off this and it'll just be down to the sanding of it. So I've spared you all the boring bit of the sanding. So I started at 80 grit right up to 400, and we're just giving it a wee blow out with an airline, and we'll apply some sanding sealer to it. And being careful not to touch our painted bit because the sanding sealer will take it off, make a mess. You don't want to hit that, so be just careful when you're applying your sanding sealer to the piece. Okay, we've applied Yorkshire grit and spent a bit of time on it and polished it up using microcrystalline wax. So we're going to be using the Joe Sonias to decorate the outside. And just getting myself set up here. So we're going to be using turquoise and violet and green. And a wee tip, set the wee tubes beside your paint tray in the order that you put them into the base. This is just a flow aid to add to the paint. It helps it spread a wee bit. What I was saying about the paints, all the paints look white when you put them out in your paint tray. So if you don't put your wee paints beside which colour it is, you won't know what it is. And you can end up putting the wrong colour in the wrong place. Okay, so I was just mixing those with the flow aid just to make them a wee bit runnier. And we're just going to use the airbrush to move the paint around here. So we're just going to be starting off with the turquoise. You just see me giving it a good mix here. And there's a whole lot of different ways that you can apply this paint. You can use a sponge. You can use a bit of bubble wrap, scrunched up bit of paper, a balloon. You get all sort of different effects with all the different things you apply it with. So I'm using the airline and the airbrush, and I'm just using the air to blow the paint around. So a few wee drops, and another wee tip, don't put a whole lot of paint down in your wee paint tray, because this stuff goes way a good bit, and once you start moving it around with the airline, you'll be amazed at how far you can move the paint. So just randomly dab the paint onto the piece and move it around till it stops, and that's what works for me. And you can get all sorts of patterns and when you start moving it around. And the best about this here, if you don't like what the pattern you've got, just get a damp cloth and wipe it off before it really hardens and start again. Because it's just I think it's water based, but it's not stuck there until it's really dried. So you can play about with it, and there's no time limit on it. You know, once you start applying to the piece, you know, then you want to move on with it, but there's no restrictions on the time you can mess about with it. As you can see, once I put it onto the piece and move it with the airline, and it stops moving, the paint stops moving, that's all I can do with it. So that's what I'm saying. You can decide if you like the pattern you've got, or if you haven't got what you think it's a nice design, just quickly a damp cloth and just get it with a light wipe, and it'll come straight off. Don't rub too hard, or you'll take your forgot that word again. Oh god, I don't know what's happening with me. It's not coming again. I'll come in a wee minute. So once you're happy with what you have done, you can move on to another color, and it's just about positioning the colors to where you think it should go. There's no right and wrong way of doing this. Try not to overlap the colors as you're putting them on. It's okay to leave a wee bit of black. And what I mean by that is you don't have to take it right to the edge of the next color if you can avoid it. Just be gentle with the airline, because the airline will move the paint quite a bit if you're not expecting it, and it'll go all over the previous bit. So it takes a wee bit of getting used to the airline and making sure you're not going to blow it too hard and make a mess. So here we're adding the violet iridescent paint. Now I quite like the Joe Sonya's iridescent paints. I've made a number of platters and bowls using the painted design. As I say, you can use different methods of applying it, and I first come across this by a turner called Gary Lowe. He's a Scottish turner. Just so happens to be coming to our club next month to demonstrate, all the way from Scotland. And it just so happens that our competition piece for that particular month is to be a decorated bowl, or a bowl of any size, colour or shape, just a basically bowl. So I seen him using the iridescent paints on a bowl he called Cosmic Clouds, and I really liked it, and I bought these and I tried them out, and it's just not the matter of applying them, it's the finish and the colour you get from them, and you don't have to try too hard to get some sort of a pattern from them. You know, you just dab it on and use the airline to do it. Another turner who's used them was Mick Hambry, and I've seen him using them, and he's used a balloon to apply the paint. Again, you can use anything you wish. Bubble wrap, cling film. The demo I seen him using the Joe Sonya's on was he used a piece of cling film, and he applied the paints and more or less of a blob on the particular platter, and then covered the piece with a piece of cling film, and then laid it flat on it, and then just put his palm of his hand on the piece of the platter, and just twisted it, and kept on twisting it different ways until he got right round the whole piece, and then lifted the piece of cling film off to reveal the pattern underneath, and it was fantastic. It looked really good. So this is a bit of a try and see. There is other paints on the market from Chestnut. They're iridescent paints. They're I won't say they're bad. They're just not as good as the Joe Sonya's. I think the Joe Sonya's give it a more vibrant colour, and they seem to go better. One of our members in our club bought the chestnut ones, and he brought a bowl up to show me at one of our meetings, and they were night and day next to each other. I showed them a piece that was sitting, I have up in our club in the cabinet, and it just looked night and day. Two different bowls, same sort of paints, but totally different. So it's up to yourself. The other thing about these paints, you do need to use the flow medium with them. Why I'm saying that is, if you mix, just take the paint straight out of the tube. One other thing I noticed about these, certain colours in the Joe Sonya's are thicker than others, so it's the matter of testing it out when you go to apply that with the airline, or whatever you're doing. Why am I saying about the flow aid? If you don't use the flow aid and you do what I'm doing here, you tend to get a lot of white residue around the piece, but which doesn't seem to leave the piece. It sort of dries out with this white outline around it. That's because the paints are too thick and haven't moved enough to remove all the white from them. So a wee bit of flow aid makes the paint travel more effectively across the piece. And you can see here I've just applied 3 colours. There's a whole range of colours. I think there's about 7 that I know of. There's gold and there's red and there's a blue as well as the 3 I'm using. So I think that's 7. So I think there's other colours they have brought out. I haven't tried any of those. I think there's a pearl or white and stuff, but I haven't seen anybody using them so far. So I'm waiting to see somebody else using them to see the effect they give. So you can see that's the piece done. Just need to let that sit there and dry. So there you are, guys. That's the finished piece. I'll get some wee pictures up to show you the finished piece. I'm setting it out of the way here. I've coated lacquer on it, and I'm going to let it dry, and I'll show you some pictures of it when I have it finished and dried.